Okay, so students, coming to the mock one discussion. So mock one answer discussion, let's do it. So I will guide you how the answer needs to be constructed. So in this class, we need to be very happy that we have two good answers even in our first attempt. So that we need to initially say. So Akshaya, just want to ask now, if you see the examiner of CIMA, he generally prefers two things. That is, one is the points and the explanation, the quality of the points and the explanation. So if you have a very strong point and if you have a very detailed explanation, which is covering the business mostly, you can easily clear this paper. So I just want to show you a sample. That is, if you see Divya's answer, now it was the answer of Divya. It's very good answer, but the only thing is she has not made it into a paragraph form, but she has connected everything like a real life business, including the data visualizations, blockchains, process automation, which is 100% correct. So Akshaya, do you get what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
And students, you should also check the answer of Sandeep as well. Even he has connected very much towards the business. So the examiner here is not bothered about your knowledge. He is very much concerned about how much you can connect your knowledge, how much you can connect your knowledge, how much you can connect your knowledge. It is very important. So coming to the questions, let's start working. So shall we start working? Yeah. So Akshaya, here, first of all, we need to read the requirement. So the requirement is very clear, that is, discuss the risk of blockchain technology to Pixlwizz. Now, the problem what you need to observe is they have specifically mentioned the risk of blockchain technology to Pixlwizz. Now, if they barely mention risk has two components. What are the two components of risk, Akshaya?
Upside risk and downside risk.
Upside risk and downside risk. So you should be able to evaluate upside risk and downside risk. So if you observe, most of the students has done that correctly. And the second one is specific, evaluate data visualization for Pixlwizz. So they are not asking you to do an explanation. They are asking you to do an evaluation. So I'll write in here evaluation of data visualization for Pixlwizz. What you need to do is you need to do a strong evaluation of data for Pixlwizz. Then the next one, thirdly, analyze how process automation can be implemented to Pixlwizz. So how we can implement that? So on what functions? How to implement? Okay. Process automation to Pixlwizz. Now, if you see Akshaya, day by day, all the businesses are turning out to be automated business. Example, there is something called bots. Have you heard something called bots, Akshaya? That means it will reply for your messages automatically.
Yes.
So students, you need to be very much business oriented when you're doing these questions. So I believe this is the 3-layer breakdown that you need to initially take. So before we go into the answer, students, any questions you have, you can ask me. If you're fine with this of breaking it down, can you please put Y in the chat box, students? If you're fine with breaking it down, can you please put Y in the chat box? Because initially you need to know how to break the questions into the parts they are requesting. Please don't do question by question. You need to apply it. So how much length should the answer be? I will explain. So students, coming to the next one. So if you see Akshaya, now in the examination, this paper, they will be giving you out of 100. You know that. So out of 100, they will be marking and they will be presenting it for out of 150. You get what I'm saying, Akshay? They will present it for 150, but marking will be for 100. That means initially it will be marked for 100 and they will multiply it by 1.5 and they will present it out of 150. Are you clear with that, Akshay?
Yes.
So students, if you generally see a question in the strategic level is somewhere within the range of 33, 34. So this individual question, I'll make it 34 marks, 34 marks. So this is very clear, 34 marks. Now, Akshay, if you generally observe, 40% of 34 marks is how much, Akshay? 40% of 34 marks. I think that's
14 marks.
14 marks. And again, you have another 40% of 34 marks. So that is also effectively coming, I can say, to 14 marks. That is also very clear. And the last one, which is 20%, and 20% that is out of how much? 34 marks. That will be effectively coming to a range of 8 marks. Is that fine, Akshay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So Akshaya, now I need to divide this by 2. Okay. If I divide this by 2, it will give me 7 paragraph. It will give me how much? 7 paragraph. So I need to develop 7 paragraphs technically. Again, I'm saying it's not practically. It is what? Technically. You get what I'm saying, Akshaya. Technically, it should have 7 paragraphs. That means sometimes you can't develop 7 paragraphs. You get what I'm saying, Akshaya. Sometimes you may be in a situation where 7 paragraphs may be not possible, but technically, because there is a technical element, no, Akshay, technically you should target for 7 paragraphs. Okay, and here if you generally see, technically you need to target for 4 paragraphs, and the 4 paragraphs cannot be a single line explanation, because this Sunday I will explain you the marking process using the examiner's report, so that it will be very easy for you to score the marks as well. So Akshaya, now if you see 7 paragraphs, we generally say, but I can say that if your explanation is very strong, you can even end up with 4 paragraphs. That means for one strong paragraph, you can target around 10 percentage. So I generally suggesting you, this is how you take the word count. So if you see word count wise, averagely, I can say for a one full mark, 24 marks question, your average number of words can be from 1000 to 1200. Average number of words can be from 1000 to 1200. So that is my suggestion. So I will make it like this: 900 words to, I can write down here 1200, maximum 1200 words, students. And I'm saying more than the word count, the examiner is more interested with the paragraph count. More than the word count, the examiner is mostly concerned with the paragraph count. So just get the understanding, students. The examiner is mostly concerned with the paragraph form, and also he is more concerned with how your paragraph is interlinked with the other paragraph. So it should be like a real life report, because when you are writing a real life report, there needs to be a flow in the report, like an introduction, then the body and the conclusion. So students, it should have that flow. So generally you will get marks even if there is no flow, but with the practice you can improve the flow as well. This is the basic idea that I'm suggesting. So before we start writing the answers, students, I'm suggesting you, it will be great if you can write this down in a piece of paper, because students, this will be great if you can write it down, because students, this gives you the basic understanding on where you need to concentrate, So if you do not mind, can you please take a note and write it down? And once you are done with this, you can put Y in the chat box. So again, I am highlighting the term technically. Technically means, students, it's not compulsion, but technically it should be like this. Technically, that means it's not a required standard your answer should have like this, but technically speaking, it should go in this range. And students, sometimes if you can write in 800 words also, there can be possibility that you can get a good results also. So there is mostly what are your points, and it is sensible to the business only, makes lot of sense. So I'm getting some Y's, so that I believe this is very clear for you all. I'm getting some Y's, so I believe this is very clear for you all. So students, just make sense that it should be very clear for you when you're writing these points. Now students, risk. Some students have understood economic risk. No, don't put economic risk anything for blockchain. Blockchain is a back office function. Many students forgot that. Now Sandeep, your answer never mentioned that blockchain is a back office function. Because Sandeep, in strategic level, your thinking ability should be very different. Because you should always concentrate whether it's a front office function or a back office function. Now, students, being practically tell me, is blockchain a front office function or a back office function? What do you think, students? Back office means where the consumer will not have direct contact with the official members. A basic example is a head office. Head office is a back office function. Finance department is a back office function. IT department is a back office function. So students, get the understanding of that very clearly. It's a back office function. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me. But the first thing that you missed out being in the strategic level was a back office function. So students, back office function breakdowns or anything will always have an indirect impact, not a direct impact. It will always have an indirect impact. Customer support is a front office function. So customer support is very poor. I can say that can have a direct impact towards your company. So students, if you can clearly get the understanding of back office function, can you please put Y in the chat box? Because I did not see any answer explaining back office function. Because it's very important, students. As financial accountants, we will never meet the customers. So we are always a back office people, students. So please be careful that back office does not have a direct impact. There is impact, but not a direct impact. Thank you. So I'll write down the basic idea. So I will just mention blockchain technology. So I'll write down a small note. Blockchain technology is a form of digital ledger where the transactions will be recorded and there cannot be any adjustment made, there cannot be any adjustment made after the transaction has been entered, This is an emerging technology. In the finance function, where there is a decentralized server. Which will prevent from breakdowns. So students, there is nothing new. So blockchain is just an example where the current accounting process, but it has become more strict. Now example, students, I will give you a basic idea so that it will be very clear. Now, if you see as finance professional students in office, we may use softwares like QuickBook. Okay, we may use QuickBook, we may use Sage, we may use QuickBook, Sage, and then we may use Peachtree, we may use Peachtree, we may have Tally, okay, MYOB, okay. So all these things are the accounting packages we generally have. So students, just to get your understanding, now if you see these type of, I can say these type of softwares, if you observe, students, can be edited, can be edited and not decentralized. So in case there is a software issue, you need to always have a cloud storage or a backup. There needs to be a backup. So students just get the understanding. QuickBooks, Sage, P3, Tally, MyoB, all these things can be edited and there can be there are not decentralized. So it needs to be backed up. So the problem what many companies faced is manipulation. Faced is manipulation. Because if you see big organizations, they had this manipulation. So the blockchain technology came, which was an enhanced feature of the same thing, but you can't do editing and there cannot be any decentralization as well. So these are the main differences. So now coming to the next one, students, now the risk that is pertaining on this. Before we go into the risk, I believe this blockchain technology is very clear in the understanding. It's the same accounting systems, but the difference is this cannot be edited. And the second thing is, students, this cannot be a centralized, it's decentralized. So there is no problem that the data will be lost. Anyway, there will be a connecting server. So before we go in depth, any questions you have in the blockchain technology introduction, you can ask me, because many of the people's answer did not correctly explain the blockchain technology. Because if you see, students, if you see finance, accounting is a chain, right? Today's closing balance is tomorrow's opening balance. That's how we do finance accounting. So similarly, it's like a chain process. So blockchain means just a technological verb they are using, but the functions are still the same. We can't edit. And the second thing is, students, there won't be a system issue because the systems are 100% decentralized. So any questions you have, you can ask me, students. But if it is fine, can I get a Y in the chat box, students? If it is fine, can I please get a Y in the chat box? Because it is mostly relevant to the finance function of the business. It is not relevant to the gaming function, mostly to the financial function, mostly to the financial function. Okay, so I will write down the next one, students, upside risk. So the next thing what I will write down here is upside risk, so that it will be clear. So I'll write down here the blockchain technology, the blockchain technology, the blockchain technology, the blockchain technology, the blockchain technology may be subjected to the following upside risk. Now again, students, upside risk is positives of a risk. So the first upside risk I can generally say is high level of transparency. High level of what, students? Transparency. Because the upside risk is what, students? High level of transparency. Now students, can I ask you one question? If you see Divya, just asking one question, Divya. Now one problem in the gaming industry is, I was just thinking about, Divya, are you there? Can you just talk?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, please.
Have you heard about cyberbullying?
Yes, sir.
Cyberbullying is mostly happening in the gaming industry. What do you think, Divya? Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Yes.
Right. So
Right.
cyberbullying, if you generally see, what happens is the credit card details will only give the real name of the person. And if you see the gamers, they don't use their real name. So there can be a situation, a terrorist using a different name and playing games. Okay, there can be a situation, but if we do not have a proper system, we can't track those people. So in the gaming sector, the transparency will be high, because when they are making credit card payments, anyway, they need to mention their real data. And now example, what happens is some people pay from another person's credit card, and what happens? They will escape. But here, when the blockchains are there, what happens is, even when you're using another person's credit card, that other person will be liable. So he will not give this. So will this increase the transparency of the transactions? What do you think, Divya? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Definitely. Example, children using credit card, using their parents' name. That also is possible, right, students? Children are using the credit card, using the parents' name. So even in that case, there is a court case or a police, a cyber criminal case coming forward, we can clearly present the data that this has been done through this person, and this can't be edited. So based on that, I think this will be a very strong, transparent system. And frankly speaking, students, you would have observed, right, when you are paying fee, you would have seen sometimes payment not successful. The main reason, that is also recorded. That's also in the blocks. And what happens is the next time when you pay, when it is getting recorded, then it will be there. So what happens is the bank and the government will be able to identify how the money is coming inside, so that this is highly transparent, nothing can happen to this. So if you're fine with that explanation, can I get a Y in the chat box so that I'll start writing that down? Thank you. So students get the point of view. You should quickly transform to the business. The gaming sector is subjected to pseudo names. Can someone tell me what does pseudo means? This is a nice name for this industry. Pseudo. Anyone aware about pseudo? I'm getting the answer. Fake names. Very good. Fake names where the transactions will be processed via unknown channels, unknown source. This can be in the form of cybercrimes, okay, cybercrimes. And the other one is cyberbullying, students. Cyberbullying, cybercrimes, cyberbullying, and also further, there can be situations where terrorist organizations uses this platform for money laundering. So students, one good thing about this is money laundering also slowly can be managed, because here the gaming sector is highly exposed to money laundering as well. So I'll write down here, since the blocks will have a fixed information, the company, that is, I'll write down the name, Pixlwizz, will be able to provide information in case of any cyber crimes, in case of any cyber crimes. So that is the classical idea of this transparency, cyber crimes. Therefore, this technology will increase the application of the company's business to the highest form of integrity. So students, a very directly wrote point. So one thing is high level of transparency, that makes a lot of sense there. And another point of an upside risk I can generally say is minimizing errors from third party. Now, students, can you remember Cloudbar, who was our host? Their server sometimes, what happens, students? Their server sometimes crashes. And also, students, if you see the console, their website also hosts our company coin games. So what happens is there can be a situation, if there is no proper blockchain, they would have made a transaction which would have been cancelled. They would have not corrected it. So what happens is the blockchain will be completely monitoring all those things. So we can easily track and see whether we get the money or not getting the money. So in case of a server breakdown, or in case of any poor system errors, this will be an evidence. So I'll write down here, cloud bar experienced the server breakdown. The server, what students, breakdown, which has created some fall in the revenue stream. This there can be errors where the systems would have not recorded the transaction. In case blockchains are introduced, it will make the internal audit function more smoother, where we will be able to find the mistakes with evidence, and prevent the errors of the system. This will increase the cash flow to Pixlwizz. Now, one more good thing of this blockchain technology is data analytics. Now, students, if you see blockchain technology, it records every transactions and you can't change it. So can I ask one question from Divya? When we are doing a data analytics, just asking,
Yes.
the authenticity of the data is very crucial. I believe so. So in data which is derived from the blockchain, I can say the authenticity is better, because students, you may be aware that data can be manipulated. Now, if you see pandemic, what happened, Chinese data is not 100% accurate. So the World Health Organization cannot identify from which source did COVID-19 develop. But if there was a blockchain system which cannot be manipulated, I think the transparency, authenticity will be high. So data wise, we will be able to track what is happening. So I will just mention a point there. Data analytics enhances data analysis. Enhances what, students? Data analytics. Enhances data analytics. Enhances data analytics for Pixlwizz. Now, students, Jacob Plank. Now, if you see Jacob Plank, and we have Keppel Quest. So I'll write down Keppel Quest. Keppel Quest. So students, if you see a product like Keppel Quest, so I'll write down here Keppel Quest MMO will generally generate revenues, where we can track the source of revenues which are generated, and we can identify the IP addresses. We can identify the IP addresses from which the payments are made. We can observe I can specifically say the DAU and the MAU based on the payments they make, based on the payments they make, and this will be more authentic. This will be more authentic since the data cannot be adjusted in the blockchain technology. In the blockchain technology, data cannot be adjusted in the blockchain technology. So Divya, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So coming to the downside risk. So students, I believe the upside risk is fine. Downside risk of blockchain. Downside risk of blockchain. Now, this is a big challenge because I wanted to say that many of you all had a problem in the downside risk. I'll tell you why many of you all had a downside risk in this section. Because students, if you observe what I'm specifically saying is students, if you see in this Pixlwizz, we have a big problem. The big problem we have is our organization is a company which is completely from a different segment, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll just show you how it works out. So if you observe here, students, our organizational structure, so I'll just show you here. We have an head office, we have Iceland, we have South office, we have Northland office. So if you see, students, we already have 4 major offices, and the problem is on blockchain technology is that 4 main offices will become integrated. So my question is, currently we may be doing separate accounts and then we may be combining the accounts. But when the blockchain technology arises in the initial stage, the problem arises is how to integrate these things. So there will be the problem starting. Because students, if you observe, Eastland is for mobile games, Southland is for console games, Northland is for research and development, and the head office for PC games. So students, 4 operations are different from each other. 4 operations are different from each other. So we'll be having a risk of integration. Of course, we will be having a risk of integration because of diversity in each offices. So I will write down here. The first thing is risk of integration. Risk of integration. Get this point very clearly, students. Risk of integration. Risk of integration. So risk of integration, I will specifically write down here. Pixlwizz generally operates on a decentralized model. That is very clear, no, students? Therefore, we need to understand that this company has different portfolios managed in different region. Different portfolio managed in different region. The first challenge will be how to integrate, and will there be how to integrate, and will there be any issues relating to existing data loss, Therefore, this risk can be mitigated. This risk can be mitigated by having this risk can be mitigated by having a pilot test, or a phased approach in one department by department, in phased approach by department and department. So this is the challenge that we are generally facing. One challenge is the downside risk, students. One challenge is the downside risk. When you are integrating, the data needs to be very much preserved and aligned. If the alignment went into a wrong direction, there can be high chances that your entire data management system can end up in a very, very wrong situation. So this is one downside risk of blockchain technology. And another risk I can specifically say,
So can I
connecting.
ask a question here?
Yes, please.
So, as much I understand, the admin thing is happening on head office Westland. So why will we go to Eastland and Southland? Because there are basically only the game related work. There, development, decision development, and mobile based game development. So revenue recognition and financial related work is happening only in Westland.
No, it's not happening on West. Administration base means they are having the higher level administration on strategic formulation. But if you see, 4 departments are completely different from each other. 5,100 employees, half of whom are based in company's head office in Westland. The remainders are in 3 overseas offices as well. So overseas offices means completely different functions. And they have specifically mentioned mobile game is a completely different area. Console is a different area. That's the point of view here.
Okay.
So students, connecting the partners to blockchain. So this will be another big challenge that we may face. Another big challenge. So I'll write down here. One of the major challenge that we may face is that the console service providers and the, I can say, the cloud bar, will they adapt to the blockchain system? That is the
Sir,
main question we have.
I have a question here, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah, blockchain, are they separate solution providers for the companies, or
It's a system
IB?
actually. It's not a solution provider. It's a technological solution.
Technological solution
Solution.
made by whom? By company itself?
No, it's a technology emerging, like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a technology. Likewise, it is a technology. Like WhatsApp is a messenger technology.
Agreed. But we
Generally,
have to pay for them, right?
we have to
Commission
pay for the
charges.
system. We need to pay for the system platform only, like enterprise resource planning. That's just a system.
ERP.
Yeah.
In this, we have the option for customization, or is it a rigid?
It is an option for customization.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so students, coming back here, so connecting the major partners to the blockchain system. Generally, it may be challenging. Generally, it may be challenging in the initial stages. Because the other players may have to upgrade for other solutions they provide to. So this is a main problem of this blockchain at the moment when we are connecting. And one more thing I can say in this one, since the regional officers are in overseas, there can be situation where the restrictions may take place based on the locality. There can be that as an issue. because different country, different rules. So one more problem, students, of this blockchain is, since it is decentralized, in case of a system format, in case of a system format, now if you want to format a system, that means completely erase a system, it will be a big challenge. Let's assume we are going for a merger with another organization. Okay, so what happens is, when we form a new alliance, the past data needs to be erased. That's it, no students, because new company formation. So in that case, due to decentralization, we will be not able to identify where the data is, because it's very difficult to delete the data. So I'll write down here, due to decentralization of data processing in the blockchain, we may be finding it very much challenging when we are transitioning, when we are, what students, transitioning towards, when we are transitioning towards, when we are transitioning towards a merger or an entity reconstruction, since the data will be in many different forms. That means not only one user, many different forms, for your understanding. That is a big challenge that we may face. So that is the major idea here. So students, coming to this blockchain, these are the main point of view that we need to keep in mind. Okay, now coming to the evaluation of data visualization for Pixlwizz. So I'll just have a glimpse of that. So what I will do is I'll just focus on the question once again. So this is the reference material. So if you see the PwC's internal audit, thank you very much for providing the opportunity to evaluate the financial process of your company. Please be kind enough to understand that we will be following international standards for audits, and we will be keeping all details confidential. As per the testing, we have constructed the online accounting system that you can use is the off-shell package, where the entries are updated based on the details provided by the clients on the payment by the gamer, where we have observed some elements have been omitted due to technical errors, lack of internal control. Further, please be kind enough to understand the internal audit has observed blockchain technology is suited for the company, and it has very high level of real-time internet transaction for the firm. And then they're asking, in order to develop good practice within the firm, we need to understand data visualization. Better option, you will improve decision making. Since majority of our board members are from non-finance background, please do consider evaluating process automation as well. So now if you see data visualization, you need to be very careful, students, because if you see in this case study, they have specifically mentioned that data visualization, they have mentioned clearly, is that the data that is being given is in the form of DAU, daily active users, monthly active users, K factor. So if you see, these are basic numbers. So what we need to do is we can do a visualization dashboard. We can present them in graph, we can present them in charts, we can present them in hotspots. So what happens is, the visualization gives them a better idea, market share. And further, what we can do is the game segments, console games, we have the other one that is boxed games, and then we have AR, VR. So we can observe the data very much clearly. So I'll write down here, Pixlwizz can evaluate the data as internal data and external data. Internal data and what data? External data. So I'll write down here internal data. First one is I'll write down internal data, because internal data is what we can specifically say what we get from our systems. So I'll write down here, as per the systems we have, we can visualize the DAU and the MAU. You can use this term, students. No need to write daily active users, monthly average users, because it is already there. The K factor of referral and active users, hours spent in the form of I can say pie chart, in the form of pie chart, graphs, and I can also say pie chart, graphs, hotspots. We can have hotspots. Regional analysis can be done, because regional analysis can be done since our marketing department generally target the information based on the, I can say, regional factors, that is very much important. So that is one way that data visualization can happen. Students, I'm not going in detail of this because you are generally able to understand this, but my concern is you must revise the answer of Divya, because that is having a good number of points. So internal data can have all these aspects as well. So I'll write down here revenue per customer, revenue per gamer, okay, revenue per game can be visualized, which can make the decision making more easier and interesting to the managers, and also to the company directors, that is the senior management as well. And further, we can present data to the shareholders in the form of data, visuals. Students get the understanding very clearly. So the next thing what I will write down is external data. Now external data only has the competing factors, everything. So I'll write down here external data. The next thing is I'll write down here external data. Now students, I'll write down here external data can present information of the top performing games of the competitors, and Plantrain will be one of them. We can observe the K factor of the competitor products. Of whose products, students? Competitor games, sorry, please excuse me, competitor games, and identify the root cause for the referral, and increase the ideas and improve our games, that is one more factor. Further, we can observe the taste and preferences of the market, where we can be able to identify the new developments, such as AR VR technology, and develop similar ranges of games for Pixlwizz. So I am frankly speaking, students, data visualization is the new trend, I'm telling you, because if you are a financial person, your major idea should be on data visualization. Okay, I'll just go through the comments now. So I have some comments. So I think yes, competitor forecast, cost all we can write down. So data should be kept, but it should not be erased for data retention. No, I'm not saying data erasing anything. I'm saying whenever a new company is taken over by another company, there is a new valuation. When the valuation takes place, we need to take out the old data because it's going to become a new registration. So in that time, the old data will create a problem because we don't know it is with which source. That is the main idea of that. So students, now coming to the next one, that is, I believe this is very clear. Any questions you have, you can ask me, students, but you are very clear here. So what we can do next is we can go through the automation part. So before going to the automation part, any questions you have, you can ask me. But if the explanation is clear for you, students, please can you put Y in the chat box, students? If the explanation is clear for you, can you please put Y in the chat box? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, students. I believe everything is good. Students, anything you can chat, okay? Thank you. So what I will do next is I'll come to the third one. How process automation can be implemented to Pixlwizz. So I'll write in a how process implementation. How process automation. Now, one challenge we have is customer service. Now, students, if you generally see Facebook, Instagram, or most of the pages, they have automated customer service. Now, if you nowadays just log into a system, the chat screen has automation. Now, I want to ask a question from Akshaya. Did you see anywhere, Akshaya, that our games have automation request to our gamers? Example, they are confused with the playing game. Did you observe anything like that, Akshaya? On I can say automation part. I don't think, right?
No, sir. No.
No, right? No, there were nothing mentioned about the automation sector. So students, just keep in mind, there was nothing mentioned related to the automation sector. So that is the basic understanding that you need to keep here. So the automation part plays a major role because we have the MMO, that is massive multiplayer online. So if you observe, massive multiplayer online is one of the critical success factor for a gaming company because it has the highest number of subscribers and it will pull or drive the company forward. So students, let's start working on how automation can be implemented. So I'll write down here, generally the customer service can be automated where the bots can be used to respond to questions asked by asked by the gamers. Asked by the gamers. Therefore, please make sure, therefore, please make sure, okay, that the company should be able to track the frequency, the frequently asked question, track the frequently asked question, frequently asked question, and develop answers for that. Therefore, the bots can reply. So this is a very fast thing. And another one I can say is, in case of a bug in the code, the systems can be programmed and it can auto correct the bug, So students understand that this will increase the standard of performance. This will increase the standard of what? The standard of performance of the game. The standard of performance of the game, and may increase the satisfaction level of the gamers. The next thing of automation is the financial transactions, reconciliations can be automated, where the cash received from the servers like Cloudbar can be connected to the system and be reconciled on time, on proper time. So these we can observe the automation can take place easily. And another point of view, students, what I was thinking is another one that is on automation is further we can automate the data processing where propensity model can be used to suggest new games to the existing gamers. So this is the basic idea on how things works out, students. So I can again say the answer given by Divya is a very strong answer, nothing to complain. But other students, the only problem is your answers missed out industry related point. K factor was not there in many answer. So next time don't write for the sake of writing these terms, but it should be very much natural to your requirement. So that is the point of view at the moment, students. But this mock what we have did today is a glimpse of what you need to do. But I will give you another book today itself, so you can do it. I'll send it to you by tonight. So any questions you have, you can ask me, students. But if you're fine with this, you can put Y in the chat box. But just get the understanding that you are working for a gaming company. So they are used to resistance for change. The industry is very much fast moving. There is no conclusion, students. So I believe everything is fine, students. Any questions you can ask me.
Hi, sir. This is Prabhat. I have one quick question.
Yes.
So basically, so the concern here is that how to decide the length of the answer given the type.
I have already told, right? Here it has mentioned. I have explained it.
No, but then like I totally understand that you mentioned that we should be willing to write 7 to 5 paragraphs, but then how to like we are given a 1 hour period, time period, I guess, for the
Possible.
answer.
It's
Yeah.
possible. 1 hour is possible if you have done management case study. The management case study is more tough.
Okay.
Possible task. Possible task can be given.
Uh,
Sandeep,
but-
are you there? Sandeep,
Yes, sir.
compared with management case study, this is possible task, right? 1 hour.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
1 hour it's possible, not a difficult task.
Yes. We had 4 tasks then, and it was like 45 minutes. It was
And
like
it was
race
very
against
hard.
time.
And
Yes.
it was very hard task, and it was not easy because the length also was very long. And if you see here, the length is still the same length of MCS, but they have reduced it for 3 tasks.
Yes.
So compared with MCS, this is a quality standard. But your answer was not good, Mr. Pahal. Your answer was very, very brief. That type of answers, they won't accept it. 1 line, 2 line answers may not be accepted. It should be detailedly discussed. Only that you need to improve. And you need to spend a lot of time on planning, and it will come only when you do around 7 mocks.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so any other questions, students, you can ask me. If you are fine with this, you can put Y in the chat box, students. We don't make conclusion here. No need conclusion. No need to write a conclusion. Okay, so thank you very much, students. I believe everything is fine. So I will meet you on the Friday class. I'll send you the mock 2 today. Thank you, students. You can leave. Thanks a lot.